Hi, everyone. I'm Liz Charlene Tate. I am the lead coach from the Western Mass Professional Development Center. Welcome to the Itsy Bitsy Zoomcast. Today, our episode is about circle time and busting through some myths and misconceptions about circle time. Sheila, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hi, everyone. I'm Sheila Gould. I'm the Early Childhood Coordinator and Associate Professor of Education at Holyoke Community College. And this is our service learning project. We connect students with the workforce by hosting really meaningful conversations through the Itsy Bitsy Zoomcast. So I want to introduce you to the students that I have today. Justin, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Justin Masseri, and I work at Roots Learning Center at Hampton Ponds in Westfield.
Thanks, Justin. Ashley, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, hi, my name is Ashley Marini. I'm a student at HCC. I'm taking my practicum course right now, and I work at the Holyoke YMCA preschool, and I'm also doing my practicum there.
Thanks, Ashley. So today we have a guest with us. Beth, can you tell us a bit about yourself and introduce yourself?
My name is Beth, and I teach at the Williston Northampton Children's Center, and I've been here almost 15 years, but I've been in the field about 30 in various positions, but definitely as a preschool and a toddler teacher for the last several years here at Williston.
That's great. So Beth, one of the things that students work on in their practicum course is they have to design and implement 2 circle times throughout the semester. But I do not put any expectations of what that circle time should include. So the students are really playing with the research around developmentally appropriate best practices and what is traditionally done or what they've observed at circle time. And it's created this really interesting conversation among the students around like, gosh, I never noticed the teachers don't even seem to have fun at circle time, or the kiddos are really fidgety, and why is that? So we're doing a lot of digging and conversing, and there's a lot of curiosity there. And we know, Beth, that you have kind of broken free of the traditional circle time, including, calendar and the weather song and those things. So I'm wondering, what are your favorite moments that occur in a maybe non-traditional circle time?
Wow, there's so much. This is a huge topic. I thoroughly enjoy circle time with right now I'm with preschoolers. It's just such a great time to really work on the community of our classroom, give children a chance to really talk together, listen to each other, take turns. I must say we do some of the calendar and we do have some of the calendar and we do the weather, but it's not at all our focus. And we actually just only started it when we felt like they were at a place where they could sit, and it's part of our daily jobs that we do. So we have 2 helpers a day, and one gets to do the calendar and one does the weather. It's very brief. The majority of our circle time, I would say, really focuses around social emotional learning as well as the current curriculum that we're working on.
Yeah.
I have a question, Beth, about the social emotional learning. Would you give an example of what you mean by that? What it looks like in a circle when you're focusing on social emotional learning?
Uh, we do, as we all do, lots of observations throughout the day of our children and where they're maybe could work together or help each other with some ideas for problem solving situations. And the other day we had one of our teachers was about to sing a song that all of the children were asking for, and there was one child who did not want that song sung and let us clearly know that they did not want that song sung. And they were really upset that we were going to sing the song. So fast forward the next day, we have a couple of little characters that we brought in, turkey teacher, and we have some little puppets, little figurines that we use, little rubber animals, and we acted it out. And they were like, whoa, that happened the other day. And we talked about what can we do if you don't like something, how can we handle that? Can you say, I don't want that song right now? Or can I go to the book area? We really gave them some ideas of how they could handle a situation if someone was displeased with our song choice, or And another idea, another situation would be sometimes that we share ideas about what the weather is, and children might have different ideas about what they think the weather is. And with five-year-olds, really getting across their point is very important.
Mhm.
And so we did a whole little skit with some puppets about taking turns listening, and that it's okay to have different ideas throughout the day, whether it's what you're making with your Play-Doh or that kind of thing. So a lot of it is fostering some conversation for
Yeah.
throughout the day, and we'll see them actually, getting out the props and reacting, acting out the little skit that we did 2 days prior. So we do a lot of that kind of thing too.
Thank you. Those are great examples.
One of the things, students, you'll know that I talk about a lot is that, the goal is not that the children know facts about its topic. The goal is not that they can accurately define the weather patterns. The goal is that they develop the skills they need to be positive, pro-social members of the classroom and logical thinkers and have a positive self-concept. That is the goal. So I think it's really interesting to hear Beth talk about, like, yeah, we did talk about the weather, but the point was really to make sure everyone's opinions were respected. We don't have to make sure that they are weather experts, right? We have to make sure that they're knowledgeable about their environment and can share their observations. That's the skill that's important. Justin, I know you have really worked in a few different classrooms in Roots over the years and some different changes in how you can run your routines due to COVID. Have there been adjustments that you've made to your group times recently after some of the research we did too?
So yeah, I think that I have, because when I had first started, it was like pretty like straightforward, like traditional circle. And I feel like I've had a lot of help to sort of flip the switch and like really turn it into something where they're not just sitting there like looking bored the entire time. Like I feel like I used to see that and they used to just sit there and kind of just be like, I don't really want to do this right now. Like they want to be like active and they want to do things. So I always try to like contribute with like whether it is, a little starter, like a game, like maybe something related to like what we're doing. Like it's Dr. Seuss week this week. So I played like a one fish, two fish game that they literally loved. And it got them to like work together with each other and communicate and, think about all the different, you know, things that they could do with like the patterns they were making with them, the noises that they were hearing. It was so cool. So like that was something that I don't know, just like made me like really, happy to see that there has been like a change. And yeah, I mean, I guess like calendar, I guess is like important, but it's not like my main priority. Like
Right.
it's kind of like I have to think like, okay, well, this is my weekly focus. Like I'm not really focused on calendar. Like I'm focused on teaching dental hygiene or Dr. Seuss or whatever, fairy tales, whatever I'm doing. So that's what I try to focus on. I don't really try, like if we don't get to it, we don't get to it. And as long as we get to what we really need to be working on, like the curriculum, it's like that's the most important part to me and that's the most important part to the kids. And like
Yeah.
that's just what
I
I've
mean,
noticed.
the thing about the calendar is it's really okay if kids don't remember what comes after Tuesday. It's
Yep.
more important that they talk about the days and what they're doing in them. And there's ways to put out into their world. Yesterday was Sunday and you weren't here, and now you're back at school because it's Monday. And what do we do on Mondays? And there's ways you can weave an understanding of time and months and days and weeks into conversation. And it's not something I like to think that circle isn't a place where we're teaching rote memorization and compliance. I always saw circle time as an opportunity to huddle together because we were a community, and it was a way for us to know how everyone was doing and what the plans were for the day, or to have a debate. You can have healthy discourse with preschool age children, and making room for them to share their opinions and hear from them. So I never cared if they were sitting, they could be lying on their bellies, they could have their feet in the air. I didn't care because everyone has a different way of staying attentive, and it looks different, especially when you're 3, 4, or 5.
I want to share that, and Ashley will remember this. one of the simulations I do with the students before they student teach is I talk to them about how enforced seating can feel for a child. So as I lecture, which I really rarely lecture, I'm not that kind of teacher, but I say, I'm going to stop until you're all sitting with your feet flat on the floor and your back straight. And I do this to college students. I say, I can't start. I'm sorry. You're not all sitting the same way. You're not all facing the same way. And then we talk about executive function and how we require enforced seating through crisscross applesauce to children that don't have a fully functioning executive function system. But we expect that. And it's from this antiquated idea that good classroom management equals control.
Right.
And we have to take back ownership of what we know is best for children. And they learn through context. When the students were discussing this idea of thinking about circle time differently online, one of the students had the idea of, they don't really like watching circle time when it's watching calendar, but what if I put a calendar in the dramatic play center and see if they mimic adult routines and mimic the adults in their life who say, oh my gosh, I got to add that to the calendar. What if I just put it there? Because they can learn to count through 30 in a lot of other way better ways. Ashley, I've noticed that you do a lot of flexible seating in the classroom at the YMCA. I've observed there, and I've noticed some kiddos are sitting, some kiddos are wandering. How's the flexible seating working out when you do group times?
It's working out pretty good. It's like you said, some kids just don't really like the idea of sitting there at all and being totally engaged. So they sit with a teacher, and that's like we use a teacher as a tool, and you can use a teacher as a tool and help you sit. Or some kids, like we used to, like, we kind of started off doing crisscross applesauce, and then we realized they don't want to. So they can sit however they want as long as they're actively engaging in what we're talking about. And some kids don't like to sit, so they sit in chairs next to the circle, or we have like these little squishy circle pads almost so they could sit on instead of sitting on the carpet, but they like that. I also kind of had like a little question for you guys. So we have a issue in our, not issue, but in our class, a lot of kids just like to speak out, and we're trying to get them to understand to raise your hand and have patience with talking. And so we, us teachers discussed like a talking tool that they can hold while they talk. So like, or like pass it around, and whoever has the talking tool, that's who's talking right now. And I was just wondering, like, is that like your opinions on that, basically?
We just tried this yesterday, actually.
Oh,
We were
perfect.
having the same kind of situation happening where everyone was just kind of sharing everything at once, and it's really hard to absorb it all. Often we'll say, if you have a thought, put your thumb up in the air so we know when we'll call on you. But we called it a talking stick. It was just one of our manipulatives, and they thought it was the cat's meow, and couldn't wait to have a turn. And many of the children didn't have anything to say, and they'd hold it up and they said, oh, I don't have anything to say, but I want to hold the stick. And so it went around, and we haven't like mastered it or anything. We just tried it out, and they really liked the idea. And I think sometimes something like that can work for a couple of weeks, and then it might be that you need to try something else. It could be you roll a ball to someone and it's their turn to, say what color they like, or talk about the planet that they like. We're doing a lot about the solar system right now. So that's a lot of our focus right now at Circle Time. So we tend to change up, I guess, what we're using as a focus.
That's a great suggestion that I know that I'm someone who needs new things to come at me, maybe more frequently than someone else. And so, the novelty wears off, and that's okay. And it is true. You need to have multiple tricks up your sleeve. One thing I did as a preschool teacher when they were 4 turning 5, and I learned this being in meetings, and we were, as teachers, learning how to have a different structure for our meetings, is we put up a dry erase board, and when somebody wanted a talking turn, we wrote their name on the board so they knew they were next. So we would say, pin your idea right here, and I have your name right there, Zach, and as soon as Molly's done, it'll be your talking turn. And that worked for a bit, and then people would be like, put my name there, I'm next. And it was a way for them to visually see that they were going to be coming up next. And also it sort of held us accountable to make sure that we got back to those kids that were sitting there waiting. So that worked a little for a while. It worked.
I think the suggestions you're all making shows that circle time belongs to the children.
Oh, I
It is
love
not
that.
the time that we impart memory to them, and what Liz said about rote memory, because this is their time, this is their community of learning, and you are a member and a facilitator of the learning and the connections that they need to make. And I just feel like it belongs to them. And if we ignore their cues for what's not working, then we're missing something very important, and we're robbing ourselves of an opportunity to bond with them, to dance with them, to sing, to get those scarves out and twirl and shake our eggy shakers, and tell silly stories of what we saw on the way to school and what we're looking forward to. And it's a way for you to share about yourself as a person, so that the children bond with you as one of them. You're part of them. You are a learning community. So I really feel like, as I hear you all talk, you're really seeing that this is their community time. So one of the things I challenge the students to do is, if they could rename circle time, what would they call it? So Beth, I am dying to know, what else could we call it?
Golly, we're so, I think kids are just so focused on friendship time, friendship group or friendship, good gravy. Friendship time,
Gathering time, maybe.
yeah.
What else? I love that. This is a great way to close today, is brainstorming some other things to call it besides circle time.
Great question.
Yeah, and
know,
I
one
wonder if people watching might want to add to the comments below, like, what else could we call circle time, just to get us away from the idea that it has to be what it's always been. If we call it something new, we'll do it differently. The students had some great suggestions online. Some of them called it just us time.
Oh, I like that.
Wonderful.
Us time, our time.
This is actually a great conversation to ask the kids to engage in, and that's what we used for circle. It is, we've been calling it this for so long. What do you think we should call it? I can't tell you how many times we would get together for our group meetings and debate if we should change the name of our class, or so. Why not ask them? Do you like calling it circle time? What else could we call it? And see what they say. Because I love, Sheila, what you said about this idea that circle time belongs to the children. I want it to be a bumper sticker. I just love that.
Oh, maybe we'll have marketing make a logo. Well, I have to say, Justin, Ashley, your thoughtfulness that you put in to preparing for this episode and talking to your peers online, but also the thoughtfulness that you bring in to your practicum sites and really thinking about how you can interact with the children in ways that are most meaningful for them, just proves to us that the folks joining this field right now are going to lead us to unknown heights. And I'm very proud to be a part of your journey. And Beth, we're really grateful to have your expertise here today, sharing with the students and connecting with them.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.
Bye.
Don't go off the